All right. Now, before we get started, who in here understands the power of social media? Just about everybody. Who has a blog? Who's written in their blog this week?
Oh, why do you do that?
Who's written in their blog in the last 2 weeks? Who can't remember the password because it's been so long since you looked at the blog?
Don't have that problem anymore.
Is everybody here familiar with Seth Godin?
Yes.
Okay, marketing genius. He wrote The Purple Cow. He's written The Dip. Purple Cow's probably my favorite, but there's a bunch of different things he's written all about marketing, how to make yourself stand out. So take just a second.
How many of you have a blog? All right. Blogging is free. It doesn't matter if anyone reads it. What matters is the humility that comes from writing it. What matters is the metacognition of thinking about what you're going to say. How do you explain yourself to the few employees or your cat or whoever's going to look at it? How do you force yourself to describe in 3 paragraphs why you did something? How do you respond out loud? If you're good at it, some people are going to read it. If you're not good at it and you stick with it, you'll get good at it. But this has become much bigger than Are You Boing Boing or the Huffington Post. This has become such a micro-publishing platform that basically you're doing it for yourself to force yourself to become part of the conversation, even if it's just that big. And that posture changes an enormous amount.
I will simply say my first post was in August of 2004. No single thing in the last 15 years professionally has been more important to my life than blogging. It has changed my life. It has changed my perspective. It has changed my intellectual outlook. It's changed my emotional outlook, parentheses, and it's the best damn marketing tool by an order of magnitude I've ever had.
And it's free.
And it's free.
So there you go.
According to HubSpot's research, almost 3 out of 5 marketers rated blogs as critical, and it's only getting more critical with every day. It is the single best platform for you to tell people who you are and what you do. Okay, and anybody who wants this presentation or these, I keep all the links in it. It'll take you right to this article. There's 25 reasons that we can go through one at a time. I can tell you some of the best. The best reason to be blogging is it's the difference between being a social media observer and a social media participant. If you want to be in it and participate in it, you have to blog. It gives you a voice. It increases your search engine optimization. It gives you a platform, a soapbox, to stand on to tell people exactly what you want them to know about your business. I'll try to behave. And it's a great way you can educate, you can feature, you can highlight, but there's just not a better resource because it's free. Even the platforms are inexpensive. Once you pay for your blog, the monthly fee is minimal compared to the return on investment. And I know there's people in this room who will tell you, if you do it consistently and you do it, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you do it consistently, there's a deep impact on your SEO. Okay, so I know everybody here understands the importance of blogging in general. There's several different platforms that you can be on. Blogger, to me, Blogger's your jumping off point. It's your starter blog. It's the one you use when you haven't done it before and you need to get familiar with it. For the most part, it's free. If you have a lot of pictures, it will make you pay a fee to have the storage space for photos. But when you're ready to get serious, there's other platforms. WordPress is by far my favorite. Is anybody in the newest form of WordPress 3.5? With where the SEO, it's not a widget anymore. It's incorporated into the program. Are you using it? The red, yellow, green program?
It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard to get a green. It gets really upset with you when you don't tag it exactly right, and I argue with it all the time, and I lose. But WordPress is a little more difficult to use than Blogger because Blogger's made for the beginner, but it's got a lot more bang for your buck. It's gonna, the tools in it, and the way that you search, and the way that you use your tags, WordPress carries more weight. Now, eventually, if you're on Blogger, you do eventually one day want to transfer. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but one day you're going to want to switch to WordPress, and I think it's like $14 a month. It's not expensive.
Are you going to give us a class?
Oh, yeah. Now, before we get started, wait a minute. You have to do what works for you. If you're a writer, write. If you are a talker, talk. If you are a podcast person, record. Do what works for you. If you hate to write and it's painful for you, you're not going to do it. It's easy enough to put up obstacles on something that you like to do. You know, I like what I do, but everybody does. They put obstacles in their way. If you're a writer and you love it, that's what you should be doing. I'm just using this as an example. This is a DJ I work with in New Jersey. He does video blogs. Very effective for him in his business. And we're not going to watch the whole thing. This is just to give you an idea.
Hey guys, I'm Alan Wilson, the client coordinator here at SCE. This is Jason, the founder of SCE. We just want to take a sec, say hi, thank you so much for RSVPing to our private show next Wednesday night. This is SCE, this is where we work, this is our crib, this is our home. We just want to take a second, show you guys this is where all the magic happens.
This is where the magic happens, and we just want to take a quick moment to just say thank you so much for RSVPing for our private affair.
They do open houses, and they get crazy bookings from their open houses. And he uses these videos to promote them. Just to give you an idea, he has almost 20,000 people on his Facebook page. He has a similar number on Twitter. His blog gets hit more than any other blog that I work with, and they book multiple shows every time they have a showcase. I think he has 25 DJs, and they all work all the time. Crazy busy, but he's all about personal branding. If you go look at his Facebook page or his Vimeo channel or his YouTube channel, he is his brand, and he makes sure he covers all and he's one of the best I've worked with that is so good about doing it himself.
What is this SCC stand?
Sound Connection Entertainment. It's SCE Events Group. And if you send me an email, I'm happy to send you this information. Okay. Content is still king. For the most part, people will listen to you for a while. But at some point, you have to give them content or entertainment or information. So the content still has to be strong. And as long as the content is strong, even if it's not particularly well written, people will still read it. Now, the more you do it, the better you will get at it. And of course, you want to write it like folks would write for a newspaper. Don't use words that are too big to understand for your general audience. Make sure you have an idea that you want to convey and then get to it. Most blogs are between 250 to 500 words. But the content still has to be good.
So do you recommend that? No more than 500 words for a blog?
Absolutely. You have the younger your audience, and they get younger every second. The younger the audience, the shorter the look, there's a squirrel.
Yeah.
They're all over the place. I'm 40 and I have a horrible attention span. If you can keep my attention for 2 minutes, that's pretty decent. But 22, no offense to the 22-year-old, it's very difficult to keep their attention. And if it's 500, and you want to have visual speed bumps. So you're going to have your title. You're going to have your subjects that are in bold. You might have something in italics. You're going to have pictures. You have to give them a way to break it down. If you just have this one big chunk of text, they're not even going to look at it. I will sometimes read. I'm a much better reader, so I like to read information. But if you can't get me in the first paragraph, I'm done. If it's really content heavy, I'll read the first paragraph and then I'll read the highlights, and that's really what you want anyway. Top 5 things to consider when you're writing your blog. Make it easy to find. A lot of that's title and keywords, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. Easy to read. If you have to look up how to spell it or look up what it means, don't use it. Make it easy to understand. Jargon, stay away from jargon. Make it easy for people to understand and convey. Trigger action. Ideally, a good blog is going to get them to come see you, get them to call you, ask a question, get them to do something. And then, of course, you want to make it shareable. I'm shocked at how many people can't tie a bow tie. So by having a video where we show them how to tie a bow tie and put that up on Mr. Burt's YouTube page and then feature that YouTube in a blog, I've got all this awesome SEO because YouTube has great search engine optimization. And if I use the right keywords and I build it into my blog, it's prom season. I don't know a single 17-year-old boy that knows how to, I don't know a 40-year-old boy that knows how to tie a bow tie. It's good information. Easy to find. A lot of that comes back to your title. One of my pet peeves are these long, painful, extremely punctuated titles. For the love of Pete, do not put exclamation points in your title. No punctuation. I will not pick on anyone in this room right this minute.
What do you mean? No punctuation for real?
For real.
If it's a question, no question mark.
No question mark.
Nothing.
Google doesn't like the punctuation. If you have, most brides look for what first? What's the first thing they look for? No, when they're searching, yes, they do look for pictures, but what's the first, when they're booking vendors and they're booking professionals, what's the first thing they do?
I don't know if we can figure that out with being good. They're wedding planner.
They're searching.
Venue. Normally the venue's first. And then what comes second?
Dress, isn't it?
Dress.
Yeah.
Those are your top two. Build them into your title. If you had an awesome, beautiful reception at the Sonnet House, they're going to look for the Sonnet House way before they look for AK Brides if they don't know who you are already. So you have Sonnet House, Jack and Jill, wed, Sonnet House, maybe the date. No punctuation. Now, I might put a comma if I put March 5th, comma 2013, but I probably wouldn't put 2013, I'd put March 5.
And you're talking about blog titles now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you would do the venue, the couple's name, and the date.
Yeah. A lot. I do that a lot. Jack and Jill, the Donley House, Jack and Jill wed, Donley House. I don't even say at the, because I don't want to waste the space. You have a certain number of characters for that SEO without being too technical. You have a very specific number of characters that the Google will search for, and I don't want to waste them on at and a the. Venues, fashion. Of course, if you're Jared Brown and people know the name, and he's very well known, and he's high up on the Google food chain, and you're doing a feature, he's a great one to feature. Fashion, everybody should be knocking Kathy Kelly's door down to do a feature, a vendor feature, where they can say, the White Room, Birmingham, Kathy Kelly vendor highlight. Because she's not only part of her brand, she's a very highly shopped, huge SEO on a lot of the couture she has. And then you beg her for pictures of her most recent couture, and you put that in the post and tag all the designers. Right? The designers get hit hard, don't they? Yeah, the title's huge.
Feeling good now.
Vendor highlights are a great way to go. For those of you who missed the ABC state function, 2 Bright Lights came, and statistically, all right now, everything you see are real events, real weddings, real highlights. And you see the blog posts on One Wed, Ruffled, The Knot, where it's just nothing but the whole blog post is nothing but real. It's a drop in the bucket. Literally, we're not even halfway there. Brides are hungry for this information. So if you do an event highlight and you highlight all your vendors, you've got all those great hyperlinks going to the other vendors, some great photographs, and ideally a nice blog to feature through 2 Bright Lights. The photographers that are here, the one photographer that's here, it has to be a photographer or a videographer to post on Two Bright Lights for you, but you can set up the information and tell them to do it. If you're retentive, which you kind of have to be a planner, you can get it all ready and just send them an email. It's ready to go. Load it for me. You know, wouldn't it be nice to be featured on the Knot? What do you think that would do for business?
I don't really want to be. I don't think it's the future.
Or not? Or not?
Just kidding.
The internet thing's gonna blow over soon.
Yeah. This whole Facebook thing is just a fad.
Yeah.
Content. Where do you find good content? Well, I like vendor highlights because we're a small community. There's so much business in Birmingham. There's enough to keep every planner in here busy every weekend. And there's a ton of vendors. You've got Mr. Birch and Cafe Is and the Sonnet House and Donley and Jared and David and all these amazing photographers and Gretchen. Everybody can be busy all the time. So anytime you do a highlight on an event, mention all your vendors. It's great content. You can also do vendor highlights, event highlights, and then of course I like content. I'm kind of content driven. What do your brides want to know? And brides now are a lot more research and internet savvy than they were 5 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh.
They don't Google wedding dress. They don't Google place to buy, location for wedding dress. They Google best wedding dress shopping in Birmingham, Alabama. Who carries this couture gown in Birmingham, Alabama for this much money? They're very specific in their Google searches. Almost 20% of Google's searching that's done every day is brand new. They're getting better and they're getting more refined. So when you have what do you want to know? What do your customers ask you? How do you know? I'm doing right now a series on wedding etiquette because people ask that stuff. Is it okay to email the invitations? No. Not ever.
Not down here.
Take that attitude and move north with it, but not down here.
Did you see the latest one from the Knot? Did any of y'all see that?
Oh, about the ring? Horrified me.
No. The latest thing on the Knot was that brides are now sending invitations to tell people they're not invited.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Don't save the date. Isn't that it?
Yes,
Don't save the date.
I read that.
Could that be rude? Could that be more rude?
Rude?
That would not go down here. Not only do I not like you, you can't come to my wedding.
Yeah.
That's awful. That's terrible.
Don't save the date.
Yeah, it was a don't save the date.
Sell those cards.
No kidding.
There's a market there.
But think about what people ask you. What do they ask you? How do I, my button gets messed up. How do I get a stain out of my dress? Or
Gratuities, tipping.
yeah. How do you know how much to tip? When should I do my hair? How long should the makeup be on? You know, think about what they ask you and answer the question. That's a great way to come up with content for your blog. Okay. 5 things your blog post should have. Should have a great title. Now, you can be clever and have a fun title, and no one will find you. I'm not against clever and I'm not against fun, but it has to work for your SEO. And I've had that before where I'll have something where I think is fun, you know, give your marketing a swift kick in the blog, but I'll go back in and change the SEO on my title and make it, you know, blogging for how to improve your marketing through blogging. I'll make it more searchable. The content has to be solid. Useful tags. You must tag every post. Does everybody know what a tag is? It's okay if you don't know. Okay. I teach classes on this, by the way. Just did one on blogging not too long ago. Tags are where you can identify content specifically. There was just Weddings 101. If I'm writing a blog on Weddings 101, I would pull out Rowell events. I would pull out Travel Planners 101. I would pull out Jackie Rowell. I would pull out Perfect Wedding Guide. I'd pull out as many vendors as I could find listed and tag them all because it just makes it stronger for the post.
That's in the section for tagging.
Mm-hmm.
You just
Or tagging or labels.
tagging or labels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hyperlinks. Google gets smarter every day. You can't cheat it like you used to, where you could have all this cool stuff hidden on the website. They've gotten wise to that. So the hyperlinks have to be organic. So anything you mention, you want a hyperlink. So if I just mentioned Mr. Birch in a post, I want a hyperlink back to his Facebook or his website or his blog. And when I do hyperlinks, I try to link to the specific. If I'm talking about a specific person, like Kathy Kelly, I'm going to go find the About Kathy Kelly on the White Room and use that link. I'm not just going to send them to the White Room.
You didn't tell us that.
Ah.
I told you you'd learn something new.
If Jackie has a good blog, but her Facebook page has 10,000 followers, I'm going to put him to the Facebook page. You have to be a little bit mercenary. You know, pick what works best for you and them. Because if she only has, if you have a, not that Jackie has this, but if her website hasn't been updated since 1985, but she's got 10,000, but she's got 10,000 followers on Facebook, go where her traffic is, because that's where she's spending her time anyway. And anything that you have incoming or outgoing, it benefits Kathy Kelly to sit down with you for 15 minutes on the phone and let you interview her for your blog, because you're going to put links to her in there. And then if I was Kathy Kelly, I would take that blog post that was done about me, put it in my own blog, and link back to you, which makes her links stronger. And yeah.
How about hyperlinking back to yourself?
Absolutely, the best thing you can do is hyperlink back to your own blog.
And how do you have to use, I mean, can you use any word, like sometimes I'll say my studio and I'll hyperlink the word studio, or do I need to hyperlink back to Gretchen B Photography?
You can hyperlink to anything you want, but
Okay.
more specific is better.
Okay.
So I was talking about how to pin a boutonniere. It's prom season, it's prom trends. When you come in to get fitted for your tuxedo, make sure you find out how to pin your boutonniere. I put a link back to the last post I wrote about how to pin the boutonniere.
Right.
It's the strongest thing you can do is link back to yourself.
Okay.
I wouldn't do this, but if I'm writing a blog post about me, and I had a great time at ABC, and there's a link about what I was going to do, I link back to ABC. Pictures. You have to have pictures in your blog. If you don't have pictures, you are missing. It's the statistics on Facebook. It's something like 120% more likely that someone will read your post if there's a photograph. It doesn't matter what the photograph is. I could put a picture up of a big black dot, and they're 120% more likely to look at it than if it was just text. Mm-hmm. Now, fortunately, I know some awesome vendors. I can get beautiful flowers. I can get a pretty cake on a swing. I can get gorgeous couture. I can get food set out for a reception. You guys are not at any loss for pictures. And any photographer, they're all very friendly, but they're all watermarked. As long as it's watermarked, use it. If it's not watermarked, send an email and ask them to watermark it and use it. The important thing, the one most important thing I can tell you for your pictures, for your blog, is to rename it. Rename it.
Rename the picture.
The picture file.
Rename the picture file. So I've gotten a picture off the Mr. Birch website of the, what is it, John Eves. Of the Jean Yves motive, of the new suit that they're going to carry. Well, when I do the screen capture, it captures it as image 1. Image 1 is not searchable. So I'm going to save it, and I'm going to say, Mr. Birch, Jean Yves, prom season.
Do you change the name of it while it's locally on your computer before you upload it to a blog, or do you have that ability when you upload it to a blog to change the file name?
I upload it after I change it. I upload it and then change the name. But if you're on Blogger, you need to save it first, because I don't think it gives you the option to change the name on Blogger. Now, if anybody needs any help, or they want their blog reviewed, or they just want input or information or pointers, I'm happy to do that.
For $1?
I'll kick you for $1. I'll kick you for free. I just love doing that.
It's true, she does like that.
And then this is my contact information. One of the services I offer is an audit process where I take a look at all of your social media. I'm going to look at your website, your blog, your everything. And I normally charge $150 for that, but for any KBC member, I'll do it for $99. And it can be a little labor intensive because I do the research before. I'm going to sit down with you for at least an hour, and then I'm going to follow up with an email with suggestions on what you need fixed. Did I just are you what?
Then we have to do what you say.
Yeah. It only works if you actually implement the plan.